Hi and welcome to another Inkscape tutorial from the Golden Ribbon. Today we're looking at the jerk pan icon Inkscape tutorial. Okay, let's get straight into it. This Inkscape I'm using is, which one is this now? About Inkscape. Inkscape 1.01. 1.0.1. Okay, this is the Inkscape I'm using. Okay then. And yeah, let's get straight into it. I have my colors here and I couldn't remember the dimensions for the jerk pan, so I just have it up here for reference. I created the jerk pan, so I'm allowed to cheat. Okay then, so let's get straight into it. I've got my circle right here and also this nice red and orange background here. I think I'm working what, 1920, let's see how I go. Yeah, 1920 by 1080 as the dimensions. Okay then, so let's go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go and go to the Bezier tool on my right hand side and just gonna go ahead and click the Bezier. Let's go ahead. Oh, that's not Bezier tool, sorry. Go to the Bezier tool right here. So I'm not used to these new icons. Ever since I switched my computer, I've not put on my new icons yet, so I'm a bit confused. Bear with me. Okay, so we got that there. I'm just gonna go ahead and go to my align and distribute option. So we're gonna go to object, in the file menu, go to align and distribute. Then with the two of these selected, you just want to go ahead and center the two of them. Cool. Then we're gonna go ahead and select these two holding shift, and we're gonna go to path, and we're going to go to division, and that will make a perfect intersection. Now mind you, you don't have to go this route. You can also double click, hold control, make sure you're pulling outward with the mouse, and you can bring the circle in half using the circles built-in tools. So just going to select this circle node right here and just pull it out and rotate your mouse while you're holding down, and that will create the semicircle that you're looking for. Cool. So next we're just going to go ahead and duplicate this semicircle, and I'm going to give it the color of gray. Good. And we want to duplicate this semicircle and give it a stroke, and we want the stroke to be this dark blue here, and we're going for a stroke of 2.30. So let's just go to fill and stroke dialog box, close the align and distribute, go to object, fill and stroke up at the top, and we're going to go to stroke style, and we're going to make sure this is 2.3 something. I think it's 2.3 I have. Cool. Alright, so that's for the second piece here, making sure that there's no fill on it. Alright, good. So we're just going to bring this out here, and then let's go ahead and just Control and X to cut this stroke. We're going to paste it in a second. We're going to go to our Bezier tool once more, and then we're going to turn on our snap tools. You do that with shift and the percentage sign, that's shift 5, or you can just go up to the top and press it up here, and we're just going to make sure that snap nodes past handles and snap cost nodes is selected. I'm going to press the B and begin to move things up and just connect. Okay, not connecting. Let me just make sure I've got the right things connected. Snap to path, intersect. Yeah. Cool. No, you're kidding. Inkscape errors. Doesn't happen often. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead into the Bezier tool, and let's just go ahead and select these, and yep. Cool. So we've got this, we're just drawing a Bezier to connect these together, and let's go ahead and drop this below. And yeah, I'm not quite sure the length of mine. Let me just duplicate this and check. Let's draw a line. Alright, so yeah, it's about this length. Let's go ahead and bring this in a bit. Cool. So now that we've got the length going on there, everything seems all right. And let's take out the stroke. Yeah. All right, this looks about good. Okay, now that we have this part, we're just gonna go ahead and create a rectangle. So let's go to the oblong tool or the rectangle tool, and we can hit Shift and the 5 to take off our snap. It's got some opacity on that. Let me just fill that in, and then we're just gonna go ahead and select this light cream color right here, and we're gonna go ahead and duplicate the semicircle that we have here. Want to make sure that our rectangle is the same size as our semicircle. I think that's how it goes. And then we're just going to go up to our properties here, and we're going to go to flip objects horizontally. Let's lift this up high here and make sure our rectangle is the same size. Good. Then we're going to color this semicircle right here. Let me see if I can move this a bit down. It's protruding a bit. Yeah, that's a bit better. We're just going to duplicate this semicircle again. We're going to be using this semicircle quite a bit. I'm going to put it right here, and that's going to determine our rectangle size. I think it's right here. Yeah, put it right to the edge of this corner here. You can also use snaps for this, but I'm just eyeballing it. And then we have these together, and this needs to be gray. Awesome. So we have these set together, and our jerk pan is taking shape. So what we want to do now is add some stilts and a bit more control. So we're going to bring back our stroke semicircle that we had created before. Good. And then we're just going to go ahead and unify these two shapes together, the semicircle and the long parallelogram that we created, or the, we call those things again, forgotten, but these two shapes. Yeah, put them together, and we're going to go to path and union, bring them together, and then we're just going to say duplicate it with Shift and Control and D, and we're going to hold Shift, making sure we press D to activate the dropper tool. Hold Shift and select this blue right here. Good, and we want to go to a fill and stroke dialog box. So object, fill and stroke, and we want the stroke style. Go to stroke style tab, and we want to change that to 2.3. Cool. And lift this up slightly. I'm just gonna just drop this underneath everything here. Yeah, and bring these up a bit. Cool. And we're gonna drop everything behind them. Nice. Alright, so that breaks the base of our jerk pan, and we want the circle to be repetitive. So we're just going to go here, and we're just going to double click to see how this semicircle looks. We're going to get a bezier, so we're going to go to the bezier tool, press above the semicircle, hold Control to make it straight, and we're going to double click to end the bezier path. Then we're going to select these two. We're going to go to Object, Align and Distribute. Cool. And let's just close the fill and stroke, and we're going to make sure these are centered using the center on vertical axis. Then we're going to go to Path, and we're going to go to the Vision. Okay. I think you can cut this another way. Can you cut path with this? Let me check. Path, cut path. Yeah, use cut path instead. Good. And then the only thing you have to do now is delete this one on the left, double click to go into your node tool. You can go to your node tool by just selecting this or pressing F2, and you're going to select this node, and we're just going to delete it by going up here. Let's hit delete selected nodes, or you can press delete on your keyboard. Good. So with that, now we have this part of the grill, and we're just copying the grill pattern, the grill light pattern that we have on the jerk pan. Good. We're just going to duplicate this here, and we're going to click one more time to activate the rotation handle, hold Control, and just pull the mouse down, and it will move with increments of 15 degrees. Good. And our jerk pan is looking really good. Good. So next what we're going to do is going to add a stroke for our rectangle, and we're going to remove the stroke, and we notice that we're duplicating the shape every time we want a stroke, and that's done on purpose because we're preparing this file to be animated as well. So you want to make sure the strokes are separated from the fills, you know, as per the tutorial that I will also leave in this description about how to prepare your Inkscape file for Blender. Good. Next, we're going to go ahead and go to our fill and stroke dialog box. Let's close them. I'm well aware that you can you can minimize and reopen, but I just do it so that you can see how to open the fill and stroke box more than once, and that helps and the repetition helps to keep that in memory. So you're going to have 2.3 for those that are beginners also. Anyway, all right, so the last thing that we need now is these patterns in here, which represent the rivets and the stand and the smoke. So let's go ahead and add the handle. Just going to select the rectangle tool and draw a handle here, and we're going to remove the stroke and just make it entirely blue. Good. Then we're just going to go ahead and duplicate the rectangle, press Ctrl and D. We're going to hold scale and Control and just scale it inwards until it's a small rectangle like this. I'm going to duplicate it, and let's put the two handles at top. Good. Next we're going to add the rivets. I'm just going to create a circle with the circle tool here. Hold Control and Shift to scale up, and we're just going to go ahead and duplicate it. There are indeed faster ways that you can do this and more accurate ways. But I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate it like this, and you're simply just duplicating 1 and then 2 and then 4, and then you're copying the 4 and just duplicating it several times. Good. And then what we're going to do, just delete them right here. I'm going to select all of these. We're going to go to our align and distribute, so that's object, align and distribute. Let's close our stroke, and let's go ahead and just center everything. So we're going to go to the distribute part of the align and distribute, and we're going to select distribute center equidistantly horizontally to make sure that they're all distanced equally. And we're just going to duplicate all of those circles and bring them up. You know, another thing that you can do to make things easier is that you can just group them before you duplicate them with Control and G. Let's bring these back a bit. Good. And that gives the illusion that the rivets continue into the jerk pan. Cool. And we're just going to go ahead and make these a lighter gray. Cool. And we're going to lift this end part of the pan up. Cool. Now we can add our stands, and the stands are simple rectangles. So just going to get a rectangle tool and draw a rectangle here. Alright, and then we're just going to click once and we're going to skew it just like so, and just going to skew it so that it has a nice vertical angle. And we're going to create two stands for it. Duplicate the two stands, bring them together, and then we're going to go ahead and just duplicate all of these, and we're going to hold Shift, press D, then hold Shift D for the color dropper. Hold Shift to make sure that you're coloring for the stroke, and we're going to click the stroke here. And because we've been using 2.3, we can expect that this stroke is also going to be 2.3. But let's take a look just to check. It is indeed 2.3. So we have our jerk pan looking really nice. Oh, other thing is that it looks a bit weird because the rectangle goes right to the edge. Let's go ahead and bring the rectangle back a bit. Delete some of these rivets and just bring the rectangle back a notch. Just select them and just scale them back a bit. Right, and it's looking a lot more like a jerk pan now. Yeah, cool. Let's just go ahead and bring these into. Awesome. So we have our jerk pan, and we're going to add some shadow for the jerk pan. Just activate the rectangle tool to remove the stroke, and let's give it this dark cream color with the dropper tool by pressing D. We're gonna lower it on the hierarchy here, and yep, the only thing that we need now is the smoke. And for that, we're going to go to the rectangle tool. We're going to draw a rectangle. We're going to make sure it's white on our keyboard. And then we're going to double click to go to the object options for our rectangle. And we're going to see this circle node. I'm going to hold the circle node, hold control and pull down. And that's going to create this rounded rectangle. And you're just going to go ahead and reduce the size and duplicate and increase the size for every duplication that you use. Good. Pretty much like this. And that will emulate the smoke arising and coming out of the jerk pan. And you just want to have the smoke have a sort of back and forth motion here, so actually it looks like it's smoke. Cool. Awesome. And then that's, I think that for the most part that creates our smoke. And we have our jerk pan. If you enjoyed the tutorial, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, be sure to ask. I'll be sure to do my best to answer. I don't presume to know all things. I know there are easier ways to go through these, but this is a nice little simple tutorial for a jerk pan. If you have any questions, be sure to ask. And as always, until I see you again with another tutorial, get up and design a new dawn. Later.